Folks, it's only day 2 and I'm tired because there's so much happening in the Warriors world. This offseason is already going crazy with the rumor mill. Klay Thompson has multiple suitors coming for his signature. I want him to be Warrior lifer, but is that going to happen? We're going to dissect the 2 teams who are coming for him this offseason, how would he fit there, and why he should stay with the Warriors. Before we get into it, I'm Randy Silver, and take a look at this. Thank you so much for watching the videos, but 95% of you aren't subscribed. Hit that subscribe button so you get updated when these videos drop. Because as you can see, the rumors are going. The draft is coming up. Signings will be happening. We want to keep you updated on everything, so hit that subscribe. With that behind us, let's dive into the video. The first one, Klay to the Mavericks. Before we dive into it, let's examine how we got here. Shams reported Thompson rejected a 2-year, $48 million extension this last offseason from the Warriors. We know he was looking for potentially a massive payout, but it's not going to come. The Warriors have $174 million committed in salary. Joe Lacob, the owner, has already said he wants to get below this. He doesn't want to be in the first or second apron because there's penalties when it comes to taxes. And they've been paying a lot of tax money as of late, a lot of penalty as late. Good reason, they're winning championships, but if they're not competing for championships, there's no reason to pay that. Klay, GP2, and Dario Saric are the free agents. And what to watch for, Chris Paul's contract is non-guaranteed at $30 million. That can help shed some salary. It's not part of the 174 because it's non-guaranteed. But if they want to bring him back at that, then boom, that bumps it up. Of course, Klay Thompson. Do the Warriors want to re-sign Klay Thompson? The answer is yes. Unequivocally, yes. Will he be a starter? Probably not. Bench player shooting threes, kind of like he did this season, especially that middle of the season. But it's got to be at the right price. Probably $10 million or less. Mid-level exception, maybe. And that's where other teams can come in. If he's looking to get paid and potentially play more, they can step in. So Dallas Mavericks are number 1. The Mavericks already have $171 million in salary committed on the books for the next season. They're basically right there at what the salary cap is. In addition, they could trade someone. Tim Hardaway Jr., his $16 million expiring contract would be a good trade. Where does Klay fit on the Mavs? Probably a second player off the bench, fitting in for Tim Hardaway Jr. He can fill in, start like he did here. When we look at the shooting stats for the Mavs, look at 3 points made per game. Luka at 4.1, Kyrie at 3, Hardaway at 2.7, Washington, everyone else below 2. When we look at the Warriors, Klay Thompson was at 3.5. So he would immediately jump in and be the second best 3-point shooter on the team. Again, if they get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr.'s contract and they can sign Klay for $7 to $10 million, that will free them up money. They could sign somebody else. Also, Klay gets a nice payday and becomes a vital star for the Mavs. Beyond shooting for Dallas, what else will he do? Bring a championship pedigree. 4 titles. Help these young players. Luka, obviously, is the main guy there. Kyrie won the championship with the Cavs. So they'll be able to lead the team. To further the point about the Mavericks really not having a lot of cap space, all they would have is a taxpayer mid-level exception. And that's usually around $6, $7, $8 million. So they don't have a lot of money to give. And that's where the Magic come in. The Orlando Magic. The Magic could be a great fit for Thompson because they need shooting, and you're about to see that. This season, they ranked in the bottom 10 in the NBA in points per game, offensive rating, 3-pointers made per game, and 3 percentage. They're a great defensive team. All they need is someone who can shoot threes. So Klay doesn't have to play defense. We know he used to be an all-caliber defensive player, all-NBA defensive player. But since the injuries, he's lost the movement to be able to be on that level. So he could come in as a 3-point shooter, sit in the corner, and pop it, and pop it, and pop it. And he doesn't have to worry about much defense. Of course, that means also he would have to move across the country from San Francisco to Orlando. No bays to drive the boat on, but plenty of lakes. When we look at the Magic depth chart, he would be a second-team player coming off the bench. See him fitting in where Joe Ingles is. When we look at the shooting stats for the Magic, Jalen Suggs, shooting guard, averaged 2-3 points a game. Highest. Everybody else was around 1 or below. And again, when we look at Klay, He averaged 3.5. So Klay would come into the Magic and already be their number one three-point shooter on the team. When we look at percentages, Ingles was at 43, pretty high clip. Everybody else was 39, mid-30s. Klay's at 38, so he would, again, be upper echelon of shooting for the Magic. And they're a young team. They're kind of where the Warriors were in the mid-2010s when they were coming up. Young, inexperienced, but hungry. Again, just like if he went to the Mavs, what would happen? Come in, championship pedigree, help this team out on the bench, in the locker room, intangibles, and have a big impact on the court making threes. The other thing as well, the Magic can offer him much more than probably the Warriors and Mavs would. Depending on what they do in this free agency, a couple of the people they let go, they could have up to $66 million in cap space. $66 million cap space. So that means they could give Klay a $12 to $15 million deal. Probably not getting that with the Warriors and Mavs, to be honest. And again, who will he play with? Jalen Suggs, going to be an all-star one day. Franz Wagner, world champion with Germany, is on his way to being an all-star. Paulo Banchero was with the U.S. national team in the World Cup last year. They have dogs. And that's why I think the Magic, as surprising as it may sound, especially a couple years ago, could be a good fit. Now again, Klay would have to uproot his whole life to move to Orlando, uproot his whole life to be with the Mavs. I personally think he's going to stay with the Warriors. This is what he knows. This is what he loves. He understands what it means to be a Warrior for life, be a one-lifer type of person. Joe Lacob loves him. I think they're going to work it out. As I put in the video before, Steve Kerr wants him to stay around. So I think he's going to stay with the Warriors. But suitors are out there. And that's only 2. And we're on day 2 of the offseason for the Warriors. There could be more. We look at the NBA. Everybody would love a player coming off the bench with his pedigree. 4 championships, multiple All-Stars, can shoot a 3 lights out. Top 5 shooter in the NBA from 3 all time. He's going to be well wanted, well needed. But the only W that he should be having around his name is a Warrior. Comment your thoughts. Mavericks, Magic, Warriors, a 4th mystery team. Let me know. Free agency starts mid-July, so hit that subscribe button because as all these rumors come out, for not just Klay, anybody in the Warriors, we're going to be breaking it all down for you. Until next one.